All right, so on our panel we have, starting with Randy, you know, women come first, but Randy's the only male, so we'll start with Randy. Randy House, who is part of the Shuttle Brothers. We have Sharon Morgan, who's from our group. We have Bonnie Swank, who is our needle professional pattern. We have Karen Bovard, Sayer, who is my split brand queen. We have Martha S., who comes up with all sorts of split designs. We have Anita Berry from Virginia, who comes up, nothing more to say. Who comes up with great designs for the dining banquet. There you go, there you go. And then we have Anita Stone, and I got too close to them. Okay, we have Anita Stone at the end. And she has great patterns. And I call her my owl lady. Because she does rescues. Yes, she rescues them. Okay, so what we're going to do without getting too close, y'all might just have to move down because if you get too close to that, it's going to spoil. So maybe Anitra won't talk to us. Not that I don't want her to, but anyway. We're going to start off with a few questions, and then they're going to answer that same question the way they do things. And then I'm going to let it to you guys to ask questions. And you can pinpoint, you can say, I'm going to put Randy on the spot because he's the only male. Randy, I would like to know this. What do you prefer? Okay? I don't know. It deals with designing. So if you've never designed, this is going to be interesting. But we all do it. So that's designing. Okay, that's just how this got started. So, you get it. How long have you been tatting, and when did you start designing besides Randy the Shuttle?
Let's go under the table and do it. Oh, I can't.
How about if we move to the other side of the table?
No. Yeah, I think I will. Is this part going to be edited out? I don't say. I know. No, I did say yes. Okay, and then we're going to the outtake reel. That would be funny.
My name's Randy Howes, and I'm the other brother. I started tatting in 1995.
Use the mic.
Close enough? Okay, I'm not used to having a mic in my hands. I'm used to talking really loud instead. People are usually yelling at you.
He does.
Am I supposed to focus?
Project.
Oh, project. Oh, okay.
Just let's talk about
okay. Anyway, it started in 95. I had a wonderful opportunity. It started about February or March in 95. I had a wonderful opportunity to attend and meet other tatters besides the other brother. In the summer of 95, by attending a lace convention through the International Organization of Lacers. At that time, they had a lace room open, and it was just a tat and chat. And that was one of the reasons that I went, because they advertised it as 30 hours of tatting. And just opened the room. Of course, we was in it much longer than 30 hours, probably that long the first day. And everybody there shared. They just broke into little groups, and they did little ditties here and there, and everybody was just sharing. I spent most of my time in a corner because it was all over my head. I was just so overwhelmed. The information overload was just astounding. My head reeled for years, and I'm sure I forgot more than I did, but that was my inspiration to design there. I had the good fortune that I had a wonderful tatting mentor, and I began teaching the next February after that. So, and for designing is when I learned how to tat, I didn't have a book. I just started to tat. And the thing I like about tatting is, as opposed to other hobbies that I have, is where you have to measure twice or plan things well out, is to just start tatting and see where it takes you. I am not afraid of mistakes.
I'm Sharon Morgan, and I wanted to learn to tat when I was 13, but couldn't find anybody to teach me. It took me 20 years to find somebody, but I've now been tatting for about 30 years and love it. It's my very favorite hobby because it is so portable and so affordable. And of course, everybody silently laughs at that because we've all been to vending, right?
There's still time.
I only knew ring and chain for the first 10 years that I had it because that's all I was taught. And then I started getting a little adventurous, looking in books. I didn't have the internet yet. The first thing I learned was split rings, and that opened up a whole new world. After that came split chains, and we had a whole new dimension. At some point in the early 2000s, I started designing, and the process is pretty much the same now as it was when I started. It all starts with a pencil and paper, and I do little cartoons, and sometimes I just have a little doodle, and other times I have a springboard to what if? How could I make this happen? Would this be better as two-dimensional? Could I make this three-dimensional? What's the best way to get from point A to point B? Then I pull out the thread, the shuttles, and I start to see if I can get from point A to point B. Sometimes it's a conversation. Teresa Orr called me one day and said, I need a pattern for March in a lesson. I said, okay. What do you want to teach? What technique are we going to do? And she said, I'd like a self-closing monogram. I said, okay, I could do that. Anything in particular you want? She said, whatever you want to design is fine. And that became the school of Willie that we're doing later today. And we kept adding to it and adding to it. And we kept that lesson going for 3 months on that school board. We just kept adding things to it. I started seeing more possibilities at home, and I thought, with as much stuff as I'm adding into this pattern and these variations, that might be pretty fun to do at Tat Days. And it was selected. But it all started with what if, and that's on paper.
Hello, I'm Bonnie Spank, and I've been tatting for about 15 or more years. And I started tatting, my mother-in-law found the Barbara Foster books in a yard sale for 50 cents. That was the books, the needles, the thread. She's like, you can do this. So you take it home, you try, and 2 hours later you throw it across the room. And then later you find it when you're dusting, you pick it back up and you try it again. And I didn't even know there was such a thing as shuttle tatting. So then you started looking for patterns and then we're all shuttle. And so my kind of started to designing became, mine's all construction. It's like I had to figure out how to shuttle tat it, to figure out which threads are used for what, to figure out how to needle tat it, if that makes sense. So I think shuttle and tat needle. And I don't know if that makes sense or not, but that's how my brain works. So I can shuttle tat, but I prefer needle tatting because that's what I know and that's what I love. But I have to know how to shuttle tat to needle tat.
I'm Karen Bovard, and recently married with a new name, Sarah, but from Omaha, Nebraska. I learned from my grandmother, so it's a heritage for me. Found out my grandfather and my other grandmother tatted, which was a real surprise because my grandfather was this old farmer, you know, and there was distinct male and female roles. So found out that he learned to tat in the same one-room school that I went to. Him and my father and me. And so in the cold winters in Nebraska, they couldn't go outside. There were some pretty nasty years. And so the teacher taught the kids how to tat, because probably every person had a tatting funnel in their work basket. So my grandfather, my old farmer grandfather tatted too. So I learned to tat in my, I think, middle school or high school years. And so, I've been tatting for, I'd say, 15, 20 years. Alas, okay, I'm a lot older than that, so. I've been tatting since the 70s, so, late 70s.
Well, I'm Martha S., and I taught myself to tat with a library book in 1976. I was in college. And from the very beginning, I would kind of tinker and experiment around. And so I had 2 patterns in Workbasket in 1985, 1986. But I didn't get serious about doing a lot of designing until just the internet. So we had George's class, there were a lot of round robin groups. And then when Palmetto started, that's really when I started, because I was coming up with ideas for classes, and extra ideas would turn into books. And once I made this, I thought I can make that. And how I do it is I'll just start, like Sharon said, just kind of a doodle or a cartoon, and then trying to visualize the idea and just work from there.
My name's Anita Berry. I started tatting in '95. I do not know what or when I started designing. I have no clue. It's not that it's been that long ago. It's the fact that it just matured with tatting, or came about. The paper, the pen. If you see something outside, or a design that you like, or a shape of a flower that you like, you draw it out, and then you fiddle around with your thread till you get the image that you like to see that replicates that. You may have to juggle the thread count, stitch count a few times, juggle the picot size, but then you get this little thing, and you show it to someone and they say, you know, this would look nice with this type of leaf. So it really is like almost a community of thoughts that go into what I create. It's not solely my idea. I don't think there's one particular thing that I've made that hasn't had someone else's inspiration put into it. A clear baggie. I don't know, that clear baggie with my tatting in it, it just allows it to marinate in the back of my mind, the thought. And a lot of times it takes that. You go, okay, I have this idea. It's not gonna come out. And you think about it for a month. It just dwells there. And you get these little aha moments, and you go, oh, I saw this person's technique, and it could do that. And so it just slowly matures. So don't expect a whole lot of yourself. Just allow things to come out. You'll be amazed at the outcome. Every one of you will. You're all designers. Yeah, I don't care. You can sit back there and shake your head. If you see something, you can replicate it. You really can.